The tarmac at John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York was buzzing with anticipation. Media helicopters circled overhead. A massive crowd of Filipino fans, their flags waving proudly, had gathered outside the private terminal, their chants of Laban, Alex, echoing through the humid August air. Alexander Eala had arrived in the Big Apple. The 21-year-old from Quezon City had just completed one of the most spectacular seasons in recent tennis memory. She had played 56 matches this season, winning 38 of them. She had captured her first WTA Tour singles title in Washington, becoming the first Filipino to achieve that feat. She had reached the fourth round at Wimbledon, stunning defending champion IGA Swiatek on center court. She had climbed to a career-high world number 18, set to become the highest-seeded Filipino singles player in a Grand Slam in history. She had packed stadiums from Washington to Toronto to Cincinnati, turning tennis tournaments into cultural celebrations. But this was different. This was New York. This was the U.S. Open, the final Grand Slam of the season, the biggest stage in tennis. And the tournament was ready for her. From the moment she stepped off the plane, the U.S. Open rolled out the red carpet. Not just figuratively, but literally. Tournament officials, media personnel, and a throng of adoring fans greeted her arrival with the kind of fanfare usually reserved for defending champions. The U.S. Open had already named her one of the players to watch in the official tournament preview. She was set to compete in the prestigious stars of the Open exhibition under the lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium. She had secured a wild card into the mixed doubles draw alongside world number 4 Felix Auger-Aliassime. And she was projected to enter the women's singles main draw as a seeded player, a first for any Filipino in the history of the tournament. "I love the people," Eala had said of New York and the U.S. Open fans. "It's a great atmosphere, super exciting, and it's different from all the other slams." Now, she was about to experience that atmosphere firsthand, and the tennis world was watching. Welcome to the story of a champion's arrival, a tournament's embrace, and a young woman who was about to take the biggest stage in tennis by storm. August 19th, 2026. New York City. John F. Kennedy International Airport. The private terminal had been transformed into a media frenzy. Reporters from around the world had gathered, their cameras ready, their questions prepared. But nothing could have prepared them for the scene that was about to unfold. Alexandra Eala stepped off the private jet, her Nike Court U.S. Open outfit already making headlines. The striking blue dress, with its basketball-inspired mesh detailing, was a statement, a declaration that she had arrived. Her Nike merchandise had already sold out, a testament to her skyrocketing popularity. And then, the welcome. The U.S. Open had pulled out all the stops. Tournament officials greeted her at the terminal. Media personnel escorted her through a gauntlet of flashing cameras. A crowd of Filipino fans, having traveled from across the United States to catch a glimpse of their heroine, erupted in cheers. The chants of Laban, Alex, echoed through the airport like thunder. This was not just a routine arrival. This was a coronation. The U.S. Open had been preparing for Eala's arrival for weeks. The tournament had already named her one of the players to watch in their official preview, a rare honor for a player who had only made her main draw debut the previous year. The official U.S. Open website described her as one of the biggest attractions at this year's U.S. Open. When Alexandra Eala made history by winning the U.S. Open girls singles title in 2022, Manny Pacquiao, the legendary Filipino boxer, led the cheering section, the U.S. Open noted. "A nation of over 100 million people takes pride in your accomplishment," Pacquiao had written. "Keep being an inspiration. Work hard and stay humble." For years later, Eala had taken those words to heart, and the tennis world had taken notice. Her arrival in New York was front-page news in the Philippines. Biting the Big Apple, one headline proclaimed, "Hungry Eala vows to take New York by storm." The Daily Tribune reported that Eala was entering the U.S. Open with loftier ambitions after a breakthrough North American swing that saw her capture her first Women's Tennis Association title and establish herself as one of professional tour's rising stars. The Manila Times reported that Eala was set to become the highest-seeded Filipino singles player in a major at the U.S. Open. Even if she stayed at her official rank number 20, she would still become the highest-seeded Philippine singles player in a Grand Slam tournament. Her previous best was the number 29 seed at Wimbledon, when she made history as the first Filipino-seeded singles player in a Grand Slam. The red carpet had been rolled out. The stage was set, and Alex Eala was ready to take center stage. August 19, 2026. The U.S. Open seeding news sent shockwaves through the tennis world. Eala was projected to enter the U.S. Open with a career-high world no. 18 ranking, making her the highest-ranked Filipino women's tennis player in the Open era. With her lofty ranking came a favorable seeding, a first for any Filipino in the history of the U.S. Open. The official rankings update on August 24th would determine the top 32 seeds in the U.S. Open. Even if Eala stayed at her official rank number 20 or dropped a few notches, she would still become the highest-seeded Philippine singles player in a Grand Slam tournament. Her previous best was the number 29 seed at Wimbledon last July. The significance of this achievement cannot be overstated. Just 1 year earlier, Eala had entered the U.S. Open as the world number 75, an unseeded player who had to fight through the draw without the protection of a seeding. She had stunned then world no. 15 Clara Townsend in the first round to become the first Filipino woman to win a Grand Slam main draw match. Now, she was returning to Flushing Meadows as a seeded player, a legitimate threat, a player who had beaten 7 top 10 opponents in a single season. I think my main focus is to win more matches, Eala had said. Obviously, the priority is the level that I produce in big matches, and I think if I'm able to reach those levels at a consistent pace, then of course, the ranking will follow. Her ranking had followed, and now, the U.S. Open was treating her like the star she had become. The U.S. Open's decision to feature Eala in the Stars of the Open exhibition on Arthur Ashe Stadium was another sign of her rising status. On August 27th, she would join good friend Iva Djokovic, Brazil's João Fonseca, and American Lerner Tien in Arthur Ashe Stadium for friendly competition under the lights. It was a privilege usually reserved for the sport's biggest names. I love the people, Eala had said of New York and the U.S. Open fans. It's a great atmosphere, super exciting, and it's different from all the other slams. Now, she was about to experience that atmosphere on the sport's biggest stage. Just when Filipino fans thought the U.S. Open news couldn't get any better, it did. Eala had secured a wild card into the U.S. Open mixed doubles main draw alongside Canadian star Felix Auger-Aliassime. The pairing, which came about through their shared agency and mutual connections, had instantly become one of the most anticipated partnerships of the tournament. I am so excited for the opportunity to play with him, Eala said of Auger-Aliassime. The U.S. Open is a very electric place to play doubles, and I think mixed doubles, especially with the lineups that there are, is going to be very interesting and a really great opportunity for me. Auger-Aliassime, the world was equally excited. The 26-year-old Canadian, who had never played mixed doubles at a major before, was looking forward to experiencing what he called the Eala effect. It's a great opportunity because I did not play last year, Auger-Aliassime said on the Tennis Channel. This time around, I get to feel what it's like to have the Eala effect and a fan base behind me. He added with a laugh. It's kind of funny because she's younger than me, but I feel like she has the fan base and she's carrying the crowd. So it's going to be interesting. The mixed doubles field was stacked with some of the biggest names in tennis. Leading the field was the pair of women's world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, and 24-time Grand Slam winner Novak Djokovic. Other pairings included world number 2, Elena Rybakina, and world number 9, Taylor Fritz. World number 3, Alexander Zverev and Taylor Townsend. World no. 5, IGA, Swiatek, and Casper Ruud. 4-time Grand Slam winner Naomi Osaka and Kei Nishikori. And world number 9, Elena Svitolina and French husband Gael Monfils. Eala and Auger-Aliassime were among the wildcard teams alongside Leylah Fernandez and Frances Tiafoe, Taylor Townsend and Alexander Zverev, Elena Svitolina and Gael Monfils, and defending champions Sara Errani and Andrea Vavassori. Read those names again, one report noted. Djokovic, Sabalenka, Swiatek, Medvedev, Zverev, and right there in the same competition, Alex Eala. For Philippine tennis fans who have followed her journey for years, That alone says something about just how far the Filipina has come. There was another reason this partnership could have Eala fans dreaming. Auger-Aliassime knew what it felt like to perform on enormous stages. He had twice reached the U.S. Open singles semifinals, and he already owned an Olympic mixed doubles medal after winning bronze alongside Gabriela Dabrowski at the 2024 Paris Games. There was also an interesting connection between them. Both had ties to the Rafael Nadal Academy. Eala spent important developmental years training in Mallorca, while Auger-Aliassime previously worked with Tony Nadal as part of his coaching setup. Now those paths converged in New York. Eala's arrival in New York was not just about tennis. It was about something far bigger, far more profound. She had become a symbol. She had become a source of pride for a nation of over 110 million people. She had become a gathering point for the Filipino diaspora, a way for people scattered across the globe to connect with their heritage, to celebrate their identity, to feel united in a shared purpose. The numbers told the story. In Washington, Eala's matches had drawn enormous crowds. In Toronto, every match she played sold out in advance. In Cincinnati, the 11,614-seat center court was packed to capacity. Filipino fans had traveled from across the United States to support her. The phenomenon had even caught the attention of the sport's biggest stars. Coco Gauff had praised Eala for bringing a new demographic to the WTA Tour. Jessica Pegula, who had faced Eala in the Washington final, described the experience of playing against a player with such passionate support. Filipino fans are insane, Pegula had said. Auger-Aliassime was about to experience that phenomenon firsthand. It's a great opportunity to kind of feel what it's like to have that Eala effect and her fan base behind me. The Canadian said that Eala's impact had become so distinctive that the phrase home court almost seemed irrelevant. Miami, Washington, Toronto, Cincinnati, or New York, the location changed, but the soundtrack stayed the same. Let's go, Alex. Philippine flags rose. Filipino voices grew louder. The U.S. Open had taken notice. In their official players to watch feature, the tournament described Eala as a player who packs houses wherever she plays. They noted that she had become the first player from the Philippines to win a Grand Slam singles match in the Open era, and that her passionate fan base has been loving every minute of her meteoric rise. Eala herself had spoken about the weight of being a national icon. There are moments where it's heavy, she had said. There are moments where it's fun. But at the end of the day, I'm also aware that it's a crazy experience, so I'm just trying to take it all in. She had also spoken about the responsibility that came with her platform. I take so much pride in representing my country, she had said after a breakthrough U.S. Open victory in 2025. It makes what I do bigger than myself, and it adds meaning to what I do. Her advice to her supporters? I would say that anything is possible. Dream big. Now, in New York, she was living proof of that message. August 2026, New York City, Flushing Meadows, the U.S. Open. The stands are filled with Filipino flags, the same sea of red, white, blue, and yellow that followed Eala from Washington to Toronto to Cincinnati and now to New York. The fans are loud, proud, and unwavering. They have traveled from across the United States, from Canada, from the Philippines itself, to witness history. Eala walks onto the court with the confidence of a champion. She has been here before. She knows what it takes to win, and she is ready to make a statement. Her opponent is a dangerous player, but Eala is not intimidated. She has faced tougher opponents, overcome greater odds, and emerged victorious. She has beaten IGA Swiatek at Wimbledon. She has beaten Jessica Pegula in the Washington final. She has beaten Zheng Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Elena Svitolina, and Naomi Osaka. From the very first point, Eala takes control. Her serve is dialed in, her ground strokes are precise, and her movement is effortless. The crowd roars with every point, their chants echoing through the stadium. The Filipina sensation is playing like a woman possessed. The match is a battle. As predicted, her opponent fights back, pushing Eala to her limits. But this time, Eala does not waver. She does not let the pressure rattle her. She does not let the ghosts of past losses creep back into her mind. She does what champions do. She regroups, she refocuses, and she unleashes a barrage of tennis that her opponent simply cannot handle. The victory is sealed. Eala advances, her U.S. Open campaign off to a winning start. The crowd erupts, the flags wave, and the tennis world takes notice. After the match, Eala is asked about the red carpet welcome she received upon arriving in New York. She smiles, her eyes filled with emotion. It's an amazing experience, she says. To have this kind of support, to have the tournament treat me like this, it means the world. She pauses, reflecting on what the support means to her. I love the people. It's a great atmosphere, super exciting, and it's different from all the other slams. I take so much pride in representing my country, she continues. It makes what I do bigger than myself, and it adds meaning to what I do. Maraming salamat sa mga kababayan natin sa lahat ng ginawa niyo mula sa Washington hanggang Toronto, at sa lahat ng gagawin niyo pa. Para ti kayong sumusuporta at nagdadasal, para ti kayong nagupuyat kaya tuloy-tuloy lang akong magtatrabaho para sa inyo. The crowd goes absolutely mad. Alexandra Eala has not just won a match. She has proven that the fans who rushed to see her were right to believe. She has proven that she belongs among the greats. And she has proven that she is just getting started. From the cracked courts of Quezon City, where tennis was a luxury, to the center courts of New York, where the U.S. Open rolled out the red carpet for her, Alexandra Eala has proven that champions don't just win matches, they move mountains. And the U.S. Open, one of the most prestigious tournaments in the world, knew it all along. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the center courts of New York, where the U.S. Open rolled out the red carpet for her, Alexandra Eala has proven that champions don't just win matches, they move mountains. The tournament named her one of the players to watch. They gave her a wild card into mixed doubles alongside a world number 4. They featured her in the stars of the Open exhibition under the lights of Arthur Ashe Stadium. They treated her like the star she had become. And when she walked onto the court, the roar of the Filipino fans echoed through Flushing Meadows. The U.S. Open will never be the same. The tennis world is stunned. And Alex Eala is just getting started.